Shalom Aleichem Seinu Le'Orman Yom Yezri Ezri Mimad Nesish Ma'abot Zalit Ana Midrog Lachanim Shemrecha V'Nei Le'Yonu V'Lo Yishon Shem Yisrael Adonai Shemrecha Adonai Tzil Chal Yad Minecha Yom Yom Hashem Lo Yikako V'Reba Lo Ilo Adonai Shemrecha V'Kol Ro Yishmer Zavshech Adonai Shemrecha Tzizro V'Yacho Mi'ato V'Yahado Ilom Sam Tzedok, my dear friends, and we'll have the Geula and we'll hear the Shofar of Mashiach, and now the Shofar of Galus, bringing to Geula. We're coming to the end of this year which is a special year, the year of Shemitah, the sabbatical year. The year following the sabbatical year, that means the coming year, is called the year of Hakhel, year of gathering. Let me start talking about it. We will hear a lot about it, because the Hakhel is extremely related to Mashiach and so on. But let's first give a little introduction to what Hakhel is all about. So it says in next week's parasha, actually, that at the end of every 7 years, in the festival of Sukkot, following the year of Shemitah, when all of Israel comes to appear before the Lord in the Beis Hamikdash, you should read this Torah before all of Israel in their ears, and then the Torah says, assemble, Hakel esa'am, ha'anoshim v'anoshim b'taf. Assemble all the people, men, women, and children. Short explanation. In ancient Israel, every 7th year was a Shemitah year, sabbatical year. Even now many people in Eretz Yisrael do observe this mitzvah. And for an entire year, the nation's economy came to a standstill. All farmers abandoned their fields and flocked en masse to the study houses, where for a full year they focused on their spiritual rather than physical needs. Now, at the onset of the 8th year, the nation is ready to head back to the fields and orchards. But first, on the 2nd day of the holiday of Sukkot, 16 days into the new year, all gather in the Holy Temple for a dose of inspiration. Inspiration to tide them over for the next 6 years, most of whose time will be spent in business endeavors. This event was known as Hakhel, assemble. It was the only event that required the attendance of every Jew, similar and reminiscing of the historic moment when our nation stood on Mount Sinai, where every member of the Jewish nation was present when God lovingly gave us the Torah. Rambam says in the Laws of Chagiga, says the following: even one who doesn't understand Hebrew is required to prepare himself and apply their ears to listen with awe, reverence, and joyful trepidation, as on the day of the Torah was given at Sinai. For that matter, says the Rambam, great scholars who are very versed in the entire Torah are obligated to listen with great concentration. Once the entire nation had gathered, the king, seated on a specially constructed platform in the temple's courtyard, was handed the Torah scroll that Moses himself had written, the one that's stored in the Beis Hamikdash. And then the king would recite blessings and read aloud several portions from the book of Devarim, of Deuteronomy, and then concluded with several more blessings. Every individual, says the Torah, should see himself says the Rambam, every individual should see himself as if he's now commanded, and it is from God's mouth that he's hearing these words. For the king is only the messenger to announce God's words. The talk of all the nation, men, women, and children, would then be, why have we assembled for this large gathering? And the answer is, to hear the words of the Torah, our essence, glory and pride. Says the Chinuch, this would lead them to praise the Torah and speak of its glorious worth, and implant within their hearts and desire and motivation to study and know God. Thus they will merit the ultimate good, and God will rejoice in his creations. This is how the Sefer HaChinuch explains this mitzvah. But today we don't have a temple yet, although the biblical mitzvah is basically only when all the Jewish people reside in the Holy Land, and there is a Beis Hamikdash, and we go up to the temple to celebrate the holiday. Nevertheless, the Rebbe, years and years and years and years, even before he became Rebbe, already spoke about it. repeatedly encourages all Jews to utilize this auspicious time to assemble men, women, and children and encourage each other to increase in Torah observance and study and foster an environment of fear of God, an environment of Jewish unity. The Rebbe particularly encourages the assemblies on Sukkot, when the Hakel gathering took place in the Holy Temple. But really, it's called Shnas Hakel. The entire year is a year of gathering to promote, as we just said, Jewish unity. And it is this unity which will bring us that we will actually celebrate this coming Hakel with the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach, King Mashiach, in the Beis HaMikdash. And for that matter, Rabbi Zushe, don't wait till Sukkot. We would like to have the Beis HaMikdash now.